Okay, so we've been given this question here. Given a supply function for a Ensomba frame is QS equals 0.25 plus 3 over 7p. The market price for Ensomba is 6 kwacha. Find and interpret the price elasticity of supply. So price elasticity of supply is how quantity supplied responds to changes in price. Remember, we said that there's a positive relationship between the price and the quantity supplied because the sellers and producers, when they see the price of the good they are selling, they can sell the good for more. Okay, they would want to produce more so that they make more revenue, which can also translate to more profits. But in reality, it's not all the time that when the price increases, then every supplier or seller is going to just increase production. Okay, there are constraints that you're constrained by. You can't just increase production just anyhow. You need maybe more workers, you need more capital, you might need more land. Okay. So just as price elasticity of demand, there's elastic demand and inelastic demand. We also have elastic supply, which means when the price increases by a small amount, quantity supplied is sensitive to price changes. Okay. Meaning if the price increases even by 1%, quantity supplied can increase by even 40%. Okay, so that is elastic supply. Quantity supplied is responsive or is sensitive to changes in price. Okay. Then we've got inelastic supply. For inelastic supply, quantity supplied is not sensitive to changes in price. Okay. So with elastic supply, as I said, you can increase price by even 1%, and you find quantity supplied will increase by even 20%. Okay. This is just an illustration of elastic supply. Quantity supplied is sensitive to changes in price. Now, in elastic supply, quantity supplied is not that sensitive. Okay, so price can even increase by 20%, and you find quantity supplied only increases by 1%. Okay. Price increases by 20%, and quantity supplied will just increase by a small amount because it's not responsive, so maybe 1%. That should just give you an idea of what we are meaning. Okay, so unlike the traditional elasticity questions where we were using the arc elasticity formula, here we haven't been given a Q1 and a Q2 or a P1 and a P2. So we're going to have to use calculus to solve this. Okay, so the formula for elasticity of supply when you have such a case like this one is elasticity of supply equals the partial derivative of the supply function of deriving the supply with respect to P multiplied by the price over quantity supplied. Okay, that is the formula we are using here. Okay, for elasticity of supply. Okay, when there's just one price given to you and the supply function, this is when you use the calculus one. Okay, so we need to derive this expression here. So we have to use calculus. Okay, so QS equals 0.25 plus 3 over 7p. Okay. Oh, before we even derive this, first we need to find the quantity supplied, QS. Okay, this one here, this QS, we need to find it. So what you just mean is, in our supply function, replace price with 6. Okay, so you're going to have 0.25 plus E, yes, yes, that's the one we're doing. This question with this supply function, QS 0.25 plus 3 over 7p. Mm. You have to, first, we have to find the price elasticity, then we interpret. Yes. We're looking here, we're looking for the price elasticity of supply. Once that is found, then we can make interpretations. No, 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 no. You need to interpret the elasticity of supply. Mm, yes. Yes. So that's 3 over 7 times 6. So 3 times 6, that is 18. 18 divided by 7, 2.57. So you have 0.25 plus 2.57. Okay, so 0.25 plus 2.57, you get 2.82. Okay, 2.82. This is QS. Okay, quantity supplied. This part of the formula. This QS here is we're going to replace it with. We'll put it here in that formula. P already we've been given in the question. P equals 6. Okay, so we've got P and we've got QS. So now what is left is we need to derive our supply function. Okay, so to make life easy, we can convert this into a decimal. 3 over 7 into a decimal so that the deriving is easier. 3 divided by 7, that's 0.42. 0.42 p. Okay. So now we derive. Okay. So you're going to put this symbol, which is saying you're deriving this supply function with respect to p, meaning p is the variable that you are deriving with. Okay. It's the variable which you're focusing on. So this p is like p to the power 1. Okay. So when deriving, this is how you derive, colleagues. Okay. If a number hasn't got a letter, it disappears. No need to show you. Uh-huh. Good evening. 3 times 6. 18. 18 divided by 7. All right. Yes. So when deriving, if a number doesn't have a vector, it disappears. Okay. You don't even need to show that. That's a good thing. So this 0.25 goes. Then when you're deriving, you multiply the power times the number in front of the letter. 1 times 0.42 is going to be 0.42. Then you subtract a 1 from the power. 1 minus 1, that is 0. So our answer is 0.42 p to the power 0. Now, according to indices, as we learned in mathematical analysis, anything to the power 0 is 1. So you don't need to write, don't need to leave your answer with p to the power 0. Just leave it like this, 0.42. Yes. Any questions, colleagues? So in our formula here, this symbol here, deriving QS with respect to P, we replace it with 0.42 multiplied by P over QP is what is 6. Q is QS is 2.82. Uh-huh. No, think of it like this: 2.0.25 0.25 p to the power 0. Okay. Since it's got no letter here, and the letter we're dealing with is p, so the same as 0.25 p to the power 0. So if you derive, you're just going to say multiply the exponent 1 times 0.25, that is 0. Subtract a 1 from the exponent, you get negative 1. So you have 0 p to the power negative 1. Then this becomes 0 over p. Remember laws of indices, a negative power, you get the reciprocal. 0 divided by p, this is 0. That's how it disappears. If you substitute p6 into which equation? The 0.25 plus 0.42p. Yes, you should get the same. Because 0.42 is the same as 3 over 7. So you'll get you get the same answer. There might be a minor difference in the decimal points because I've just wrote two decimal places, but if you place 6 here, you're supposed to get something. You have to get 2.82 something. Because I didn't want to derive with a fraction, so that's why I converted it into a decimal. Decimals make life easier because with fractions you see fractions they complicate things. Yes. So 6 divided by 2. Oh, do you have any other questions before I resume? 6 divided by 2.82 is 2.12. Yeah. 0.42 times 2.12, you get 0.89. Okay. Our price elasticity of supply is 0.89. And since this 0.89 is less than 1, because every time you answer, you're always going to compare it with 1, colleagues, okay? Above 1, elastic. Below 1, inelastic. So here, supply is inelastic. So the interpretation is, when we say supply is inelastic, it is not sensitive to changes in price. Okay, supply is not sensitive to changes in price. So meaning price can increase even by 50%. Find quantity supplied just increases by even 10%. Small amount. Okay. Any questions before we go to part 2, which says state and explain three factors that affect elasticity of supply. Any questions or queries? Okay. So when I sent you this document, this one was derived with the fraction. Okay, as you can see here, 0.253 over 7p. Then when you derive, you get 3 over 7 like this. Okay. Someone was trying to join. Okay, so we go to the next part. Factors that affect elasticity of supply. Number one, the time period. Okay. All right. So in the short run or instantly, okay, when the price changes, you as a supplier, you cannot get new workers, get new capital, get new land. That takes time and money. Okay. So in the short run, supply is usually inelastic because it's hard to acquire new workers, new equipment, new land, get new factories. It will take time for a company to do that. So in the short run, supply is inelastic. Okay. But in the long run, okay, after time has passed, you've raised the money you need, you buy new equipment, you build a new factory, you hire new workers, your supply will increase. Okay? So time period affects one of the factors that affect elasticity of supply. In the short run or immediately, you cannot acquire new equipment, factories, or new land or new workers. It will take you some time to raise the resources in order to get that. So in the long run, when time has passed, you'll be able to acquire those factors of production and increase your supply. Okay. Number two is the availability of spare capacity. Okay, so let's say if you have a farm and you have got 10 tractors and 10 combine harvesters, and currently you only use 5 tractors and 5 combine harvesters, it means you have spare capacity in your farm. Let's say you've even got maybe 10 acres of unused land. That's spare capacity. That's what we mean. You've got spare land, spare equipment. All right. So if the price of the good that you're producing increases, since you've already got 5 other tractors that are not sitting idle, you've got land that is sitting idle, you've got combine harvesters that are sitting idle. When the price of the good you're producing increases, you can use that idle capital, which is the spare capacity, so that you can grow, increase your supply. Okay. So if there's spare capacity or unused resources, supply can be elastic. Okay. Because it means if the price increases, you just now engage the 5 combine harvesters that were sitting idle, the 5 tractors that were idle. You now utilize the 10 acres that was idle, and you'll be able to now increase your supply. So if you have spare capacity, supply is elastic. But if you don't have spare capacity, meaning you're a farm, you've only got 1 tractor, 1 combine harvester, you've got limited land, you don't have extra land, all right? When the price increases of, let's say if you're selling maize, if the price of maize increases, you can't boost your production because your resources are limited. So the more spare capacity you have, the more your supply is elastic. And if you the less spare capacity you have, um, supply is inelastic. And then finally, ease of storage or stock available. Again, we use another farm example. Okay. If you're a farmer and you've got a warehouse with a lot of maize, okay, and the price of maize increases, you can sell everything in your warehouse, meaning you've boosted your supply, your quantity supplied. Because you've got some maize that is sitting stored there, okay, or whatever crop you are making, you've got it stored there waiting, okay. Currently, you're not selling all your stock. But if you hear the price increases, you go to your warehouse and say, okay, that's sitting stock that's there at my warehouse. Let me sell all of it because the price has increased. So you can say the quantity supplied is elastic because you've got spare stock. Okay. Yes. But now if you don't have any stock that you are storing, all right, now the price increases. You can't go to any warehouse where there's a stock and increase your supply. No, you'll still be limited. So if goods or whatever you're producing can be kept, especially those the non-perishable goods, you produce a big amount of them and you can still store them at the warehouse. Then when price increases, you will supply all of those, then your supply is elastic. But if the goods that you're producing or and selling, if you don't have where to keep them, and obviously if they can perish, you find when price increases, you won't have some goods pending to be distributed. Uh, Yeah, those are some of the factors that will affect elasticity of supply. Time period. The longer, in the long run, when time passes, supply becomes elastic. Number two, availability of spare capacity, spare machinery, spare equipment, spare land, even spare workers. If you have spare, remember, land, labor, capital, factors of production. So if you've got spare factors of production, you can supply is elastic. If you don't have this, supply is inelastic. Then finally, ease of storage or stock availability. If the goods that you're selling, you can store them, okay, for very long periods of time. When price increases, you can sell most of that stock or all of that stock. Therefore, your supply is elastic. Okay. But if the goods that you're producing or selling, you can't store them, or you don't even have the means to store them, the supply will be inelastic. Meaning, when price increases, you don't have extra stock to put into the market. Any questions?